Hey everyone, and welcome to today's Explainer. I am so pumped to dive into this one with you today. We're unpacking a really fascinating, honestly paradigm-shifting analysis by tech writer Parth Shah. We are literally talking about the death of manual coding. You know, the days of hunting and pecking your way through thousands of lines of syntax? Yeah, they're fading, and they're fading fast. AI agents are fundamentally transforming developers from line-by-line typists into high-level project managers. So get ready, because the way we build software is changing practically overnight, and you absolutely want to be ahead of this curve.
Okay, I want you to just listen to this quote right out of the source material. I rarely start with a blank file and write everything manually anymore. I mean, let that sink in for a second. For decades, right, that blinking cursor on a totally blank file, that was the starting line. It was the canvas for every developer. But according to this analysis, that era is pretty much over. The modern code editor isn't being judged by how many cool extensions it has or its fancy custom themes anymore. What matters now, really the only thing that matters now, is how effectively it can manage an entire army of AI agents.
Section 1. The VS Code Bottleneck, built for manual coding.
Okay, so let's dive into this by looking at the familiar status quo. In a traditional, sequential workflow, you, the developer, are doing one task in one file at one specific time. It's a highly linear process. Now compare that to Cursor 3.0's parallel workflow. Here, you have multiple autonomous agents executing complex tasks simultaneously. It's basically the difference between riding a bicycle to deliver packages one by one across town versus acting as air traffic control for a massive fleet of delivery drones.
Let's break down that traditional bottleneck a bit more. VS Code is fantastic, right? It's been the gold standard for years, and it's incredibly flexible. But, as the source points out, it was fundamentally built for the manual coding era. It was literally designed for human fingers on a keyboard. You open a workspace, you physically click to move between files, you manage your own terminals, and you complete tasks one at a time. And honestly, the friction of spinning up servers or losing your train of thought while waiting for a test block to run, it's a massive drain. Now sure, Microsoft has added awesome tools like Copilot, but they kind of feel like powerful add-ons sitting on an editor designed for solo work. The core interface still forces you into that sequential box, basically turning you into a human bottleneck in a fast-paced, AI-driven world.
Section 2. Enter Cursor 3.0, Parallel Agents at the Center.
So let's talk about the disruptor here. Cursor version 3.0 isn't just another editor with a chatbot awkwardly bolted onto the side. It's framed in this analysis as a dedicated control center for agentic development. AI is no longer tucked away in some tiny chat panel. It's a centralized agents interface right at the heart of your workspace. You can run multiple, independent jobs simultaneously, complete with crystal-clear progress monitoring. And look, while that might sound like a simple UI update, it completely rewires your psychological approach to a project. Instead of constantly context switching between tabs and terminals, you're overseeing the whole shebang from one beautifully organized command center.
Section 3. Case Study, the Habit Tracker.
To really wrap our heads around how powerful this is, let's look at a practical example from the article. The author walks us through building a habit-tracking web app that has a built-in focus timer. This is the ultimate proof of concept for the parallel workflow. Watch how the tasks were divided here. Instead of writing this app sequentially, start to finish, the work was just ruthlessly delegated. Agent 1 is assigned the entire dashboard and UI for the habit cards. At the exact same time, Agent 2 is spun up to build the back-end logic for the timer and session history. And while both of those agents are actively coding away, Agent 3 is deployed to inspect the project for mobile responsiveness and accessibility. You literally have three distinct intelligent entities building different features of the exact same app at the exact same time. The speed of execution here is just absolutely staggering compared to a single person tabbing between files.
So you might be wondering, what exactly are you doing while all this crazy parallel processing is happening? Well, you are for sure not typing syntax. Your new job? Monitor their progress, clarify ambiguous requirements, elegantly handle overlapping file edits, if two agents happen to touch the same code, and then finally review the diffs and test the app. You are strictly acting as an orchestrator now. You step in only to guide the vision, review the execution, and make the big, high-level decisions.
Section 4. The AI Project Manager.
This brilliantly illustrates a massive identity shift for modern software engineers. The old developer role was so granular, wasn't it? It was all about writing every single function by hand, tracking down tiny syntax bugs, and moving line by line through massive code bases. But now, your day is spent defining the macro tasks, assigning that work to your agents, and reviewing their implementation diffs to make sure the final product actually works for the user.
You're operating at a massively higher level of abstraction. Instead of agonizing over how to write a loop, you're figuring out what the app actually needs to achieve and ensuring the agents deliver exactly that.
And this whole transition is perfectly summed up by this quote from the article. I feel less like a solo developer and more like a project manager supervising a small engineering team. I mean, that hits the nail on the head, right? The IDE isn't just a tool anymore, it is literally your virtual engineering department, and you are sitting right there in the manager's chair.
Section 5. The Future of Development.
So let's zoom out and look at where this is all heading. Because as mind-blowing as this workflow is right now, the models powering these agents are getting intensely capable. Cursor 3.0 is setting the stage to integrate some absolute heavy hitters. The article mentions upcoming integration with models like Grok 4.0, which, by the way, was jointly trained with SpaceX AI specifically for developer interactions and long-running tasks. Then you have Anthropic's Claude Code Fable 5, designed for highly ambitious coding projects, and of course, OpenAI's GPT 5.6 Sol, built for long-horizon agentic tasks. As these super advanced models roll out, an editor's ability to coordinate them smoothly and without friction becomes the undeniable benchmark for success.
To wrap up this analysis, where does this leave the IDE landscape today? The source lays out a really fair, neutral comparison. VS Code absolutely remains the safer choice if you value familiarity, a huge extension ecosystem, and total control over your local setup. And honestly, to Microsoft's credit, they are beta testing a new agent's view to head in this exact direction. But by contrast, Cursor 3.0 is currently the undisputed, better editor for agent-driven, seamless software building. It strips away the friction and maximizes your ability to delegate parallel tasks to your digital team.
I want to leave you with a final thought to mull over. How will your day-to-day workflows change when you finally stop typing code and start managing an AI engineering team? The transition from manual developer to high-level project manager isn't some far-off prediction. It is happening right now on desktops all over the world. It's time to start thinking like a manager. Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer. I really hope it gave you some incredible insights, and I will catch you on the next one.